Hello and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is Dave and I will be your game master for this session of Pendragon. Role-playing in the times of Arthur. We are each playing as knights in the court of the Count of Salisbury. And this is the beginning of the second adventure contained within the Game Master's Handbook. All the products we're playing with can be found over at chaosium.com. We do stream live on Twitch each Friday, and all of our videos are collected over on the Chaosium YouTube channel. So this is part 2 of our sort of ongoing campaign, where you guys are no longer newly knighted. You've been knights for a year now, so that's a pretty,
I was sick for a year,
experienced. And you got knighted during it, so it all came good. We are returning in 509, and it is spring when our story begins. I'm just to my phone, I'm just do not disturb. In the last chapter, Sir Boris, who has now joined our party as Art was absent, and the character very conveniently rolled sickness in their solo quest, so that explained a lot very easily.
And then I also hung out and did a local tournament to get my strength back.
So that's good. It was a recovery tournament. You got to kind of get back out there and get the muscles working. So we'll kind of like big picture at first, and then we'll go around and introduce knights within the context of the story. So, big picture, you are all in Salisbury, which is within Logres, and specifically you are based in Sarum, where there is the castle on the rock, and this is the sort of, capital, the equivalent. That's where the Count Salisbury, your friend and fellow squire turned knight, Lord Robert, is based. You will be assigned to travel throughout Salisbury to conduct the Lord's work. Your Lord, not the Lord above, although Sir Mob might have opinions on that. So you would be expected to go to different castles, but this is kind of the home base of it all. In the last, in 508, when each of you were knighted, there was a very significant Battle of Netley Marsh. And you heard about this, although you did not experience it yourselves, for this was when many of the knights at Sarum rode out to meet King Cerdic of the Saxons, who was raging against King Nanteliod, and unfortunately King Nanteliod fell. And since then, there has been not quite chaos, but the ever-looming threat of danger. The Saxons did have a little raid, and that was where Sir Hervis, Sir Mob, and Dame Triamore, wetted their blades for the first time and bloodied their spurs against these Saxon raiders. But they were repelled, and since then there has been intermittent fighting, but no great battles. But you are very much under the threat of something to come. When we resume, it is mid-April, just now coming before Easter. It's been cold for some time, and you spent the intervening period based in Sarum, outlasting the winter. The weather is still chilly, but generally the days are pleasant. Trees are beginning to leaf out once more, and there's sort of a dappled green scattered throughout the area. Within the castle itself, squires are attending to their duties, and pages move back and forth, ferrying messages, and attending to their own work. A small family of badgers has moved inside one of these stables, and it is at least one squire's regular task to tend to them and make sure that they cause no real work. That they don't actually damage anything, but they aren't to be harmed. This is a rule that's been passed down by Lady Jenna, who is Count Salisbury, Lord Robert's older sister, who has returned after her husband, one of the what's the word I'm looking for? Senior members within King Nanteliod's court, has passed. Unfortunately, all is not well. King Cerdic has been moving closer and closer throughout this period and is currently being hosted within Sarum by your own lord. He has come here to meet and treat and find some terms that can be settled upon to avoid all-out conflict. And your lord, only a man of sort of similar age to you, so just now 2021, is thrust into a very serious position, as are you. Many of the older, more senior knights have tasks afield where they are scouting or rallying armies or manning castles to make sure that bloody Saxons don't get too close. So you have been elevated to sort of direct guards of Lord Robert, and you are overseeing the meetings that are taking place and making sure that nothing untoward happens. King Cerdic has travelled with a quite significant host of courtiers and knights himself, and the three of you, with Triamore as well, have found yourselves needing to kind of square up and very quickly mature and meet your matches. They've been here now for almost a week, as several feasts have been held, and the conversations have gone long into the night. You yourselves are often not present for the conversations, merely guarding at the door, while some of the other more senior courtiers take it up inside. But you've also had personal conversations with Robert and have the general impression that things aren't going great. Tough position, not quite sure how things are going to unfold. But you do your tasks, do them well. So how I would like to introduce the knights is in the context of this, sort of a week passing, needing to really lean on your hospitality and, being proper and not dicking this up for everyone. So where might we find you on this, crisp spring morning? We'll begin with our newest knight, Sir Boris Morrison, and Art.
Hi, I'm Art, and I'm playing Sir Boris. Not the finest swordsman in the land, but the most enthusiastic. I am channeling my inner Brian Blessed for this one. So.
Fantastic.
I think has crisp spring morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I should probably describe Sir Boris because we have a bit more of his characteristics now. Sir Boris is notable features I have tweaked because I wanted to make sure that they fit with things. So he is a barrel-chested young man with resonant speech.
Amazing.
Is my distinguishing characteristics. Who at this point in the story, because I really wanted to, is of size 17, which I did go and have a look at what that meant in a nice little table. He is currently, and possibly still growing, because I haven't decided whether I'm going to throw more points in here or not, 6'4",
Jesus.
and weighs approximately 203 pounds.
Okay. It's a large
I don't know what
gentleman.
that is in kilograms. Someone can work that out. But this is a big knight.
92.
92, yeah. Oh, it's under 100. I feel, yeah.
Round up.
That's fully naked, As soon as he gets the metal armor on, he's pushing 120.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair. Boris is mostly driven by honesty, honor, and care for his lord. He has great respect for Sir Robert. Sir Robert was kind enough to assist with the fact that Sir Boris spent the last year mostly quite unwell, and was still willing to provide for him during this time, even though he was not actually able to serve as a knight throughout that. So Boris, I think, has quite a deep affection for and respect for Sir Robert. Also, because the man he understands things in a way that, I don't. And I trust him to know things because he's clever. Clever man.
Yep. He's the Lord. Of
Boris,
course he knows things.
He is. Boris, and kind of mostly because, well, Art, and by extension, therefore, Boris, kind of has no idea who this king is. He just got told to stand in front of a door, and he's quite pleased with doing that. He's quite pleased to just stand there and chill and look knightly and not have to do anything too incredibly difficult. Yeah, so long as he doesn't have to think too hard, I think Boris is generally a relatively happy man. If he can eat and sleep and not think and be knightly, that's enough. He has vague inklings in the direction of chivalry. Mm-hmm. He does have I've given him some additional passions towards chivalry as a starting point, because he does believe that a knight's duty is to look after people and take care of the little people, because I'm very big, and luckily I'm good at that. Mm-hmm. Being big, little people can't be big, so they need a big person to do it for them.
That's kind of like literally, the knight's role, and it is truly your belief that they can't do it. They're the small people. They do the field stuff. And, I do the knight stuff. Yeah.
Boris understands the concept. He's heard the term little people, the little people of the world, and just thinks that it's people that are smaller than him.
At which they are, generally.
Which they are. I don't. There's very few people, with the exception of Sir Robert, who is obviously a big person because of his station. Mm-hmm. There are people who are big because they are big. They have big auras. Mm-hmm. There are people who are larger than their size. And Boris, there's the tiny little nugget that is the brain behind this giant, inside his giant fucking head. Which
really is trying.
It's there are not too many thoughts that pass through Boris's head, because if too many go through at once, it's like a drain pipe getting blocked. It just 404 errors the poor man out. So it's one thought at a time. And the current thought is, I need a good breakfast if I'm going to stand around in front of a door all day. Breakfast.
Your squire
anyway, that's
darts back off.
There's a term, noblesse oblige, which is largesse oblige instead.
Largesse oblige. This man seems, if not large in body, then large in spirit, and I respect that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. How about Sir Hervis, Jackson?
Hey, that's me. I'm Jackson, and I'm playing Sir Hervis, son of Pharamond, of golden hair and dulcet tones and gleaming white teeth, and all-around good-looking guy. He is the Knight of PR, and he's taking this station very seriously by taking out at every opportunity. I don't know if anyone heard about this, but Sir Hervis has a Saxon rune-inscribed sword, which was taken from a Saxon chieftain by my father a few years ago, but is now in my possession. And I think if there's any chance that these Saxons are vulnerable to mind games, I will be taking that out and polishing it and sharpening it every chance I get, just to make the point that, hey, we've beaten you plenty of times before. I don't know what you think is going to go differently this time.
That's fantastic. That's so good.
Sorry to present myself as foolish here, but is King Service Saxon? I may have missed that terrible detail.
Cerdic, yes. Well, he's actually half Saxon, but he is on Team Saxon and on Team Not You. Yeah, that's
He's the king of Wessex, is that right? What's the king of?
Saxony.
2 seconds. Yes, King Cerdic of Wessex.
Look, this is helpful for me too, because I don't know who this man is.
I was going to give it.
Wessex, famously the
western part.
Saxon.
This is a
no, I understand Wessex, Essex, Norfolk, and Suffolk. I know what those mean.
Yeah, West is the biggest part of it, and it's just filled with bloody Saxons. That's the concern.
It's a huge concern.
It's just very troubling. Speaking of very troubling, James.
Yeah, that's me. Extremely troubling. I'm playing Sir Mobe, the vacant and vulgar. And yeah, that's about how every conversation goes.
How have you been handling this small-scale Saxon invasion?
Silence.
Yeah.
He talks over them and tries to say we should have a moment of silence for the Lord, just to show respect. And it's a lot of really awkward faux pas like that, not really going great.
Fantastic. Yeah. Everyone's on their best behavior. You know, the best behavior just is still your best, which has limits. So couple sort of I guess just elements to throw into the ring. The other one is that so Hervis and Samob, you have you've been in battle as knights. You rode in the raid of whatever it's called.
True.
Last year.
Battle of Wilton?
Yes, that's
Wilton.
right. Battle of Wilton. So Boris, you have actually not ridden in a full battle as of yet. You've, trained and you've been in tourneys and the like, but due to your sickness this last year and the slow recovery through winter, you've not yet actually drawn steel as a knight. You've squired in battles and you've, resupplied your former knight that trained you, but not yet actually met the Saxons as an equal. I do kind of wonder if, squaring these ones up now. It seems like there's some antagonism coming from Sir Hervis, and Sir Mobe just kind of putting his foot in his mouth a bit. But for Sir Boris, are you, looking for the battle? Are you maybe, having not yet seen the horrors of war? Or,
I think Boris responds to any animosity, which, here's the thing about hospitality. You can't give offense. If you give offense, terrible things happen. And that goes from, insulting someone to, having a fight.
mm-hmm.
So I think, but also, again, Sir Boris, simple man, enjoys fighting. He's not very good at it, but enjoys it. Enjoys a tournament, enjoys squaring up against people. So I think for any animosity, if there is any that is thrown from the Saxons, or if there's anything, the slightest whiff of, do you want to go? Boris is like, ha, you look like a strapping fellow, and I cannot wait to take an opportunity to knock you off your horse, sir, when the opportunity should arise. And I hope for a fantastic contest at the time. And is just affable. Is clearly extremely excited to hit people with swords or, pointy sticks. But very much from a place of, when you and I meet on the battlefield, it will be an amazing and great opportunity for the both of us. But at this point in time, you are in this house. So I can look forward to fighting you, and I can, it is very much the, hey, it's friendly.
Yeah.
It is very much coming off as friendly, but also I am confident that when it comes to it, I shall win, and we shall be victorious. But I wish you all the best, kind of thing. That's Boris to a T.
Yeah,
so
I get you. Kind of envisioning this to be a grand scale tournament. Once it comes to the battle, like a place of glory and honor, and that's very much the knightly perception for a lot.
I do think he understands the concept of war is not a tournament, so he does understand that, but the way that he approaches that line of you must not cause offense is not to try and rile people up, but also not to back down from anything that's being thrown in his direction, is to just be I wish you luck, and I will absolutely floor you when we get there.
Yeah.
It's a you can't spell hospitality without hospital kind of thing.
Okay.
I can't spell it either way.
I think I followed that.
Yeah, we didn't. None of us have literate.
Nope.
Yeah, tremendous. So where you are presently stationed is up in the fortified keep itself, standing in a long corridor with open windows, glassless, just empty space, that look out onto the fields below. You can hear underneath some squires training as they go about their practice under the watchful gaze of Dame Aspara, who trained yourselves and is now Marshal of the castle, and as such has quite significant duties, but has been removed from this most present meeting, so has sort of returned to sort of something that you almost find relaxing, like, you know, looking after the squires and training them up. The three of you are stationed sort of a pace apart along the corridor with, to your right-hand side, the thick oak door that leads through to one of the finer rooms in the area. Inside there's a hearth and a heavy table and a number of chairs. And you know, because you saw when the door was opened, a large map of the area laid down and a number of small tokens that denote various areas and the movements of armies. Within, Count Salisbury, your Lord Robert, and the claimed King Cerdic are meeting for the probably second time today already, even though it's early afternoon. They broke briefly for food, but have returned to it, and likely will remain until dinner again. Also within is Lady Jenna, who, through her experience in sort of courtier negotiations and things, has quite a lot to offer. And some of her handmaidens are coming and going as you sort of stand looking at the wall across from you. King Cerdic's men are positioned here as well. 2 Saxon knights. And whenever you say knight, you put quotes around it in your head and kind of the way you say it. These are not knights. They dress the part, sure, but they have none of the qualities that are required. They lack training. They lack the finer details. They have no regard for hospitality or station or anything but just might and blood and carnage. You can still smell the smoke on them from when they were raiding villages mere days ago. Each of them is uglier than the last, and they sneer across at you, pick their nose, and try and plunge their fingers into their ears as they gawp mindlessly at the wall behind you. They are dangerous enough, but here, in the sort of duel of civility, they are far outmatched. And they seem to not even realize how outmatched they are. A final member of the king's entourage is stationed further down the hall. And this is a very large man. This is Sir Kindwolf. And the rumors are he must be at least half giant. They say his mother was a giantess and that she ate his father, and that King Cerdic must have come to some dark deal to draw him to his side in this war. And to tell the truth, as you look at this tremendous man, you think there may be some merit to these stories. He cannot get all the way down the corridor, for there are columns in place that he can't get through without really squeezing. And when he stands, his thick head of bushy, sort of bramble patch black hair brushes the rooftops. He is a knight, so to say, in that he has been given the title by a false king, but he has even less respect for civility, and seems to take great delight in taunting those that respect it, and egging them on to the very edge of their hospitality's allowance. Presently, he is sitting along the hallway, watching people coming and going. How are the three of you acting in this immediate moment? It's kind of trying to be civil.
Polish that sword.
Yeah.
I think that given my negative character traits, I probably stray a little too close to the Saxon way of knighting. Not deliberately, but I just forget myself and pick my nose a few times, and feel very embarrassed about it. I am, as someone who's got the battle skill all sort of set up because of my family background, I'm probably trying to get a glimpse at some of those tokens on the table and get a sense of what's actually happening and what the nature of the discussions inside are.
Do you want to give me... This is going to kind of encompass your understanding of the lay of the land from the last week of meetings and snippets that you've heard. Could you give me a battle roll?
Sure, coming up. Battle roll? No, I'm afraid.
You've only saw...
Just a bit over my head.
Yeah, you've only seen bits and pieces, but your understanding is things aren't well. But more detail than that, you can't attain. And your general sort of viewpoint of like, well, I'm on this team, so what's the point? It doesn't... No point dwelling on it. Things don't look great. I'll try and get more information later, but for the time being, I guess I just do as I'm told. No clear details. For yourself, Sir Hervis, are you looking to antagonize? Are you looking to create a specific reaction from them, or are you just kind of making sure that everyone knows you've got it?
Just making sure everyone knows right now. But also, I'm kind of intrigued to build up my intrigue score some more. I just advanced to 13.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's not something I can do right now, but...
No, but we could have folded something into the last week, kind of like we did with Simode here.
I've been hearing these reasons. What, is it a Kindwolf?
It's a Kindwolf, yeah.
Kind or kind?
Cynewulf. So, you know.
N-E. Okay, that's completely different to what I have, but that's okay. I've been hearing these rumors, and I just think... There must be some rumors the other way. Like, I want to find out that he's afraid of mice or something. I'm going to find out his fatal flaw. This is like, this is an Achilles we're seeing here. He's clearly got unnatural touch about him.
Yeah.
So he must have a fatal flaw of some kind.
Okay.
And I
believe this man is an elephant?
It's something like that. I'm not too proud to find out what that is. No. So that's...
I think that's
and the
very
light of PR on the outside, but I kind of want to see if Hervis has got like a schemer in him.
Yeah,
you know?
Or look through their PR and see what lies beneath. Go ahead and give us an was it intrigue? Yeah,
intrigue.
Intriguing.
Well, I am intrigued. Success.
Okay. This is a very powerful knight. His sword swings, when he practices, they do that like scarecrow thing where they put up a bunch of straw on like a quite thick post, the style you would tie a horse to. He has taken to, when he practices, drawing his sword and slicing through the post with one swing. He is very powerful. But the rumors, if they are to be believed, is that he has never been so significantly wounded. So, when he first tastes real pain, perhaps he will balk at it. That is the, unfortunately also with your success, the kind of like, we're hoping it's true. Like, it's not like he's been seen to do it. We're just really praying that he hasn't gotten there, so it's gotta happen when he gets there. It'd really suck if he gets injured and doesn't care. But yes, very, like, a lot of meat on him as well. So, pretty hard to even get to that state.
Okay.
But yeah.
But not afraid of mice or something?
No. Not that you've spotted.
Not, like, allergic to anything?
Cheese?
Not that you've seen. He seems to be a great eater, and he delights in devouring the food of his companions when they're not looking, and specifically of you. Yeah. Not that you've noticed.
Well, worth a shot.
Worth a shot. Worth a shot. So Boris Morrison, what might you have been up to
Hello.
in the last sort of week or so, or presently? If you have a role that you're sort of thinking about, something you might want to have looked into.
The only way that there is a different knight inside of me than the one on the outside is if I ate him. So, what you see is what you get. Big man. Not much between the eyeballs.
That ain't broke.
I mean, I don't know if there is like a specific role that would be appropriate. I suppose he sort of spends a bit of time sizing them up. From like a
size,
you know, not like, yeah, but also like from a, you know, one of his better skills is brawling. So I think he does do a bit of hand to hand like brawling. If as much as it's not quite as much of a knightly skill, there is a real joy in kind of just using the force that comes to you naturally through your physique to you know, try and overpower someone else.
Yep.
As a sport. So I think there is an element of how big are these people? How easily does Boris think that he could, you know, take them in a fight, whether that be, you know, wrestling or actually like knocking them off their horse. Because Boris's size is 17, his knockdown, I believe, is also 17, which I think is quite high. I think that's pretty high. So like he's definitely been knocked off a horse. This man is not by any stretch of the imagination, as I said, good. But like he takes a lot of that in his stride. So and has definitely probably. You know what? The arc I would like to see for Boris is he was quite a small and weedy kind of young child that definitely got knocked off his. Yep, but he got knocked off a horse a bunch. He like got pinned down by kids that were bigger than him, and then he hit puberty and just went whomp. And kind of, I think, because he did not grow up as a bully, he grew up as bullied. But he's like. He did not go down the path of, oh, I was bullied, so I should bully others. He took the other path of, well, I was bullied, but now I don't get that anymore because I'm big, so I should make sure that the people that aren't big don't, like, suffer that, because that's not fair. Again, a kind soul, I think, is just good. Good and stupid. Lawful stupid.
Yeah.
Except this is stupid good.
Stupid good.
But yeah, sizing up people. Just kind of on that. If you know, as a, well, wouldn't it be fun to you know, brawl with them a little? I think there is nothing more in his head at the moment than the pure joy of competition.
Yeah. So for sizing them up, I mean, you have brawling. If you'd like to kind of apply it to understanding how you think you do in a brawl. That works.
If I can use that.
Yeah, it specifically calls out like sword is what you would roll for assessing a sword, like how good it is. It's your knowledge of it as well as your application with it.
Success.
Nicely done.
What are the rules for ticking skills again? It's not a standard success that does it.
No, it's really only if it on a crit you pretty much gimme get it, and it's if you do something significant like under threat or within So yeah, this won't be getting it.
So if I succeeded brawling in like an actual battle, I might tick it because that's like significant danger. What have you?
If you were like outnumbered and things, and you made like a risky move to throw yourself into it. By default, actually, battles don't necessarily check skills. It's only if you like do it while outnumbered or something like that. If it builds the story.
Put it this way, Dave. I'll read the book at some point, but otherwise I'll be like, "Can I check it?" And you can be like, "No." Be like, "Don't."
Yeah, that works for me. So with a success, slicing. For one thing, you do think that most of these knights are like probably more familiar with like spears and hatchets than they are so much with swords necessarily, although they are capable and they're training with them. You actually think
I respect that. I cannot wield a spear. Do not know how. I keep pretending to hit myself in the back of the head whenever I try. I don't know why. I just, or like get get it tangled in my own feet. You know that meme of the person sticking a stick in their own bike thing and being like,
Yes,
why?
yes.
Just take the last panel of the why
And
and
apply
just
it.
being like, this
Bloody
is just what
Saxons.
Boris does to his own feet when he tries to use a spear. Just instant faceplant. He is, not a dexterous human being.
Yeah, these are a little bit of
Definitely-
your ilk then. Yeah, they're more used to just brute strength and numbers than like specifics. So, you know, an average like Cumric Knight would certainly outpace any of them, sword to sword. And specific to Sir Kindwolf, he is not great with a
His
sword.
name is Kindwolf. I heard Kimmel and was like, cool, that's his name now.
Also works. Well, no,
Cool.
it doesn't. It's Kindwolf.
Kindwolf, okay.
So he is definitely more of like a brawler and just a brute. But he does have a sword. He swings it around with vigor. And, you know, less accuracy, more hit hard when it connect. Which is a tried and true strategy. And if it ain't broke, etc.
I think there is really a point then at some point during maybe this week, or maybe it will happen if it has not had an opportunity to do so. But I think Boris will like at some point go up to Sir Kindwolf and say, "You, sir, are truly strapping, and if we ever get an opportunity to brawl, sir, I would be delighted to be an opponent." And just is, again, really excited to be like, there is a man who is bigger than me who might actually beat me in a fight, in a brawl. I'm excited for this. If it is, if it
within
feels
the
like
realm of good taste to actually set this up? When
I
you're
think
friendly bout?
it's truly a like, you are a man of stature, and I would be excited to have an opportunity to compete against you in a ring of like honor and like a tournament.
Imagine like an offer of sparring though could also be a nice thing. Like it doesn't. It's not necessarily a hostile act. To
offering to train and kind of get
That's
the
what I'm
measure.
saying. Like,
So
do you want to like see what he's made of? Let's make
lot
this
of
happen.
in a lot, like if you were hosting another court, it would be very reasonable. And even here, it's not crazy, certainly, but there is a hatred here to the Saxons. Like
This is our enemy.
These
We're
are
actually
your
at war
enemy.
with them.
You really are like, I can't wait for these to all die. They suck. So, and they have that very much towards you. There is a bubbling hostility that just exists constantly, and any little push one way or the other is almost always met with like distaste, disgust, dislike. So Mob, historically, you weren't as hateful of them, and you probably have like everyone else has rage-tinted glasses. You can see they're not quite as stupid as they're being painted, and you know they're not quite as barbaric, but the general, it's just they're very much an other, and less to be treated with, and more to be sort of chased out and stabbed.
Right. But they're not Christians, which Mo may not like.
Yeah,
Right?
bloody pagans, I think.
I know that like we all start with hate Saxons of 5, which doesn't feel huge. So I like, at least for Sir Boris, and Dave, you can tell me if I'm kind of misrepresenting the numbers. But for Sir Boris, it is like, we hate them because they are the enemy, and on the battlefield, they are our enemy. But like, I think for Sir Boris, it's still abstract, because it's just society says these are terrible people, but when you are in front of a person, that's not necessary. Like you can hate a group of people but be fine with individuals in a moment. And I think Boris's like general affability is to just be like, you are a knight, and I care about chivalry, I care about honor as a knight. To like, I am going to treat you like a knight, and I expect to be treated as a knight in return. And if you don't treat me that way, then his response will be, well, that was terribly rude of them, but I suppose you can't help some people just maybe not being as educated in the finer things. But I will say they were rather rude. Like that's his extent of like, everything is just kind of joyful because he hasn't been through anything bad yet. He's been sick, which I think has definitely given him that love for life. Being able to come back to health and really have that, like, oh, I was so ill and I am not an idle person. I need to be enthused, and so I think that's almost pushed him in the other direction. But
no, absolutely. This is the hatred of Saxons is an ancestral hatred, and it's one that you have all the way back from when the last, King Uther was poisoned by them, and the whole realm descended into anarchy for years.
If someone said, "Do you like Saxons?" Boris would be like, "No, they're terrible. Like, they're, individually, all right chaps, I'm sure, but as a group, terrible." And
there are exceptions. There's people that have certainly found French kinship among Saxons, and there's many that have crossed the border and found allies amongst them. This is a broad brush to paint with. So
not all
actually
Saxons, but definitely these ones.
Definitely these ones who are bastards. Well, not literally. Well, they might be. To the last one, just of your approaching Sir Kindwolf at some point and asking about a duel.
I think it does not, if it's inappropriate in a certain circumstance like this to try and set one up now. I think it is more just it would be fantastic to be in a tournament with you at some point. Whether he takes that as being like, well, sure, let's go now, or not.
So when you, in going up, and this is probably early on when you first saw him and did truly just see him to be a very large and, larger than yourself and exciting challenge. On the approach, he looked you square in the eyes and said, "You have the heart of a small coward, and he would not meet you so much as devour you." And then literally pushed you away to go past. In just a plain rebuke of hospitality. And you unfortunately found yourself somewhat handcuffed by civility in your response, as you are with all of these. Because to draw or to spur things further risks not only your own honor, but that of your lord, who has extended hospitality to these uncouth and distasteful men.
I think all that really does for Boris is, he is, again, not clever. Words do not hurt this man.
Yeah, how could they?
If someone goes, "You have the heart of a coward," he goes, he would essentially be like, egging me on, excellent sportsmanship. That's kind of what would be
playful
in his,
banter, a jibe.
We
well
live
struck.
As fancy as the Arthurian legends tend to lay this time out, we live in a deeply hostile, deeply uncaring, deeply dangerous time where people's lives are kind of they don't mean anything really. And we get to play the people whose lives got recorded and whose lives sometimes mattered, but even then life is cheap. So in a very brutal world, someone going, "You have the heart of the coward and I will devour you," is just kind of going, "Oh, right then."
Cool.
And then to be like, again, "It was quite rude, I must say. No real sense. But what can you expect from Saxons, really?" And it just serves to make him go, "Okay, these are Saxons that I don't like."
We all want them to sax off already, but unfortunately they're hanging out.
Also, for the record, the reason that I am wearing what is essentially dressing gown is 1, it's cold, 2, it's grey, so it kind of looks like armor, and 3, it makes me look big and fluffy.
I was going to say, it makes me
look
huge.
Like that.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah. Hello, I am a fluffy knight.
Big boy.
Yeah. So no, I don't think.
And immediately arc up.
Boris definitely feels the sting of disappointment at oh, this person is not willing to meet grace with grace, or chivalry with chivalry.
Remarkably not. Yeah.
But kind of puts it down to, well, they're Saxon, so what can you expect?
So with this context in mind of a few attempts to be civil, and nearing the end of a long week of very strained relations, everyone's kind of hoping they sacks off sooner rather than later. And as you're waiting on guard and hoping to soon be relieved of your duty, the door opens and Lady Gale exits. This is one of the handmaidens to Lady Jenna. Specifically, she is one of the most eligible amongst them. Yes.
So sorry.
Gale?
Who's Lady Jenna?
Yes, Lady Jenna is
Jenna
Lord
is
Robert's
Lord
older sister.
Robert's sister.
Sister. Okay. There was I was like, she seems important. It's either going to be sister or wife, but I am going to need to know which is which, because...
Very different.
You don't want to get that mixed up.
Yeah, it's awkward. Yes, no. So Lady Jenna was married off into a officer in the court of King Nanteliod. He kicked it in the Battle of Netley Marsh, and so she's come home. So Lady Gale is the chief handmaid, actually, and she's, as we sort of met her in the last feast, or at least mentioned her, very wealthy, very sort of very beautiful, very clever, all these good things. Jim?
Might seem like a inappropriate question given her grief. How does widowing work in this setting? Like, is she going to remarry ever?
Yeah, no. So Lady Jenna is
Asking for a friend.
So we got a couple. So
I
yes,
don't have any friends.
Absolutely, she will.
I'm your friend.
Yay!
So
Everyone's friend.
she I believe wouldn't necessarily need to. She's gotten some status from it, but she, in the individual, is willing to. And in the, like, by the time she arrives at the feast, I remember mentioning last chapter, she was wearing the signs of grief, but was kind of there to party, like have a good time. There's clearly there was no real love lost between the officers.
The setting and the culture permits for remarrying effectively
Yes.
if your husband kicks it, or presumably if your wife kicks it too.
Yes.
I mean, there's definitely an element of you would hope. Well, it would probably. I mean, at this point in time, what the lower classes did would not matter.
Actually, we quite like telling the lower classes what to be doing. Kind of like
Look, really
top 10 night activities is telling people what to do.
Yeah, but like as long as they do what they're told when someone's watching, but for the most part, after that, like no one actually pays any attention to them. That's the whole point, which is sad. But I would expect that it would be allowed for someone to remarry, because in a time where women couldn't own property, if you didn't have a brother to look after you or anything, it was very important to find someone.
I mean, that's particularly Estranor, who was Kenrick's sister. That was her big concern, is that she's basically standing to get nothing and be quite screwed in the whole process. Yes, I've just reconfirmed in the text. It specifically says, furthermore, as a widowed heiress, she may freely choose her next spouse should she wish to remarry. So not even being like married off, she can kind of make the play herself.
She's her own woman.
In this intervening year, you've seen her very much sort of, just act independently and say things out, and also does seem to be interested in courtship. She has entertained the fancies of some of the more senior and talented knights, but at the moment is very much engaged in the negotiations. It's Lady Gale that departs from the chambers, chief handmaiden to Lady Jenna, and she's traveling back out with a large pitcher of wine and some sort of bowls of fruit and elements, just basically like a table clearing thing. She walks past the three of you facing the two other knights on the wall, and you hear sort of like a snort from one of the other knights as they suck snot back into their brain or something. And then as she gets past, as she gets to the doorway, Sir Kindwolf puts his foot out, effectively barricading it fully. And when she pauses for a moment, and all of you are sort of on duty, just sort of like out of the corner of your eye watching this, she begs his pardon, and he draws himself up into his full height, completely blocking the doorway, and reaches down and takes one of the apples off the plate pops it into his huge gob, and crunches down with teeth like gravestones, splattering sweet mulch on the wall beside him. Lady Gale pauses and says, "You can have another if you'd like." And he reaches down, but this time takes her by the arm and holds her quite firmly and begins to lean forward and says, "And what about you?" And at this point, Lady Gale tries to pull away and can't, at least immediately. As knights, what is your response? This is a gross overstep. He's been towing the line the whole time. Now he's really pushed it. What do the three of you like to do?
Getting to my feet.
Yeah,
You've been standing at attention the whole time. So you can head down the hallway. You will be walking in from behind Gale, and he will clearly see you as you approach. Who's leading the charge? In fact, we might resolve this with a trait roll to see who kind of like spurs into action immediately and heads forward. Suggestions are proud for sort of like an insult to your hospitality and to the lady's honor, and all manner of other things. If you have another trait that might be appropriate, you may pitch it.
What is if offense is given during a period of hospitality? What is like the protocol at like a basic level? Are you allowed to call it out and do something about it, or do you have to like essentially say you have to leave the grounds before anything can be done?
It's kind of tough. They have like soft carte blanche. Like they can kind of push it, and then if you react poorly, it is on you. You are very much in a vulnerable position here. It's also gets down to a bit of like their word, your word. Like it's a bit genuinely. This will kind of come down to like this will be the roll after for like courtesy or all right to make your point, and it depends on how you handle yourselves. He is certainly overstepping. You would be and to come into Lady Gale's defense is the chivalrous thing to do. Kind of worth noting, chivalry hasn't fully been established yet. We are actually pre the chivalrous knight. We are more in like their tanks on horses and they go and do killing. But
we're pioneers.
Yeah. So suggestions would be like, as I said, proud. I could also see like just for like this isn't, this is right. Vengeful versus forgiving. Does anyone have a famous trait here? So a 16 or over specifically that might spur them immediately into action, or otherwise wants to just like make a pitch.
Not famous, but getting up there. 14 proud. I want to push that.
Okay, I think that absolutely plays. Do you want to give me a proud roll? Okay.
Oh, very good.
Keep on turning.
How about Sir Boris and Sir Mobe? You can see Sir Hervis is stepping forward to act. You can we can determine some traits, or you can.
I might roll a just.
Okay, go for it.
Rolled and failed.
Okay, can you roll the other one now for me? Can you roll an arbitrary?
Certainly, arbitrary.
Okay.
Failed that as well.
Yours to kind of take the direction as you please. But yeah, not immediately sparked one way or the other.
I'll head over.
Okay, you follow behind Sir Hervis to back him up. How about yourself, Sir Boris Morrison?
I found the page on hospitality.
Oh, good.
I was just skimming it. It's just the passion stuff. It does mention that the hospitality passion is invoked by the wronged party when a host or guest breaks hospitality, or when a knight witnesses a violation of hospitality by anyone.
Okay.
Should we all have rolled the hospitality passion to see? Because if we...
That's a great call. Does anyone have a...
where does it say? A successful roll indicates the knight must act, whether by deed or word.
That's perfect, actually. Yeah, absolutely.
That feels like this feels so like...
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
That's perfect. did forget we had one. Yeah, if why don't we each just roll hospitality? We've already got your proud banked as well, so Hervis, which we'll factor in. But
I was stepping up anyway. I was just trying to get a crit so I could improve it.
Oh, did that come? Oh no,
just want numbers.
I thought that was me.
Okay.
I'm actually
Says on the hospitality for me, I
kind of-
must act.
Yeah, it is also for Sir Hervis. Boris failed, which
Yep.
does mean I think in this choice I get a moment.
Someone should also, in theory, be standing, like remaining the guard
Yeah,
as well.
I think-
Someone should keep doing the job that they're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
Because it's also because my like respect for my lord and honor is quite high. I think like the thought of if I've been told stand outside, and especially if Robert gave instructions of like stand outside, do not provoke these people, do not like be courteous, and like kind of in a way that I assume often lords do, all will be well, all will
Yep.
be fine. Because like the understanding of hospitality at this time was essentially that if you broke hospitality, the powers that be would make you suffer. It was not that the host or the guest could do anything, but like the god or whatever would ensure that justice would be delivered to the party that broke this, and also like no one's gonna let you in the house again. So
Absolutely.
King is a vessel for God, and we are vessels of the king. Therefore,
Well, yeah,
swords
specifically
out.
says,
It all
like,
gets to where it needs to be.
something bad will happen to them at an inconvenient time, whether delivered by God or Beluch or Woden or whoever protects the hearth. Like it is if you do something wrong, you're pissing off God.
Yeah.
So I think for Boris, like Robert has said stand guard and like all will be well. So that is what he is going to do. But also there's two more of them. And like if they draw swords, that's a problem.
The whole thing could escalate.
Yeah.
So Boris remaining and watching the other two. One of them as Sir Hervis like grabs the hilt of his Saxon blade and turns to stride down the corridor towards Lady Gale and Sir Mobe, hot on his heels to aid in the attempt. One of the sort of guarding Saxon knights, the smaller ones, sort of moves to look, and so Boris just like grunts and shifts slightly, as in like, you two are with me. And the three of you each stay at the door while Hervis and Mobe approach.
Would it be at all appropriate to like knock on the door?
You are nearby, so that if things escalate, you are in a position to do so. Certainly, as it is, the knights may have it in hand. See how things unfold would probably be the
more
default.
if someone is acting up. It is technically their liege that is.
It is,
like,
but they're in like negotiations for like the fate of the area.
look.
So
Again,
it'd only be if
Boris,
it pops off.
Small brain, man. If he's like, oh, someone doing bad thing, tell
Get dad.
Tell mum on them.
Yeah.
Tell dad on them.
You do it if it escalates further. So Hervis and Mobe, you approach and you can see Sir Kindwolf grinning down the corridor to you as you get there. No light filtering past his large form, but sort of twisting shadows from the trees outside glinting in from the window. Lady Gale turns around and catches eyes with you, and it seems like fairly distressed. Kindwolf holds the hand up and says, "Have you come to pay her ransom then, knight?"
Sir, Lady Gale has many hospitality duties that she must attend to, and it is beneficial to you and your lord that she not be interrupted at this time. I'm sure you would agree.
You sound well-spoken, knight, but you are young and untrained. I wonder if that is decorative, your sword, or is it there so that I can pick my teeth with it when I've eaten this one? And he holds Gale up, and the rest. At this point, I would ask you to make a proud roll as he calls you a child during your duties, and yeah, basically says you suck.
You just take that proud roll from before that it wasn't needed?
No, I think
was a
I think I'm
success.
gonna. This
Go
one
again?
gives a bit, the context. I think.
Heck yeah. I am pretty proud.
Let's see how it goes. Oh,
So, this is a public site directed at you. You immediately lose 1 point of honor until it can
'Cause
be
of him?
returned to you. Yeah, he has basically talked about. So this is grounds now for you being like, take that back, and I'll see you outside. What would you like to do? This at this point absolutely like escalate to a duel. Call him out. Somehow make this right for yourself. Because as it is, he is calling you a lesser knight, and if you let it stand, so the story will go. He said it.
Well, heck.
Jim,
I had
do you want to clarify
a
something?
point,
Yep.
but yeah, potentially de-escalatory point, or just so my ideal was to, if he's standing there glaring and doing all this, I was gonna take his chair, because you mentioned that he'd been sitting down.
Yep.
Because like he's vacated it, and unless he's a little occupied at the minute, and it's a little bit like, you can't complain about this because you're not being very hospitable. And it feels like it's taking something from him a little bit. So I was kind of hoping to get him, just distract him off things.
Yeah. He is so large, and his limbs are longer than the natural dimensions of people. It absolutely plays. I'm actually going to get you to make a brawl roll for me to try and get in there and grab it from him. While he is just, this is a quite a tight corridor, and I'm going to roll one against you. It's not for damage. This is just for trying to grab. This will be an opposed test.
Damn, I would have rather Dex, but I can completely see how this is brawl.
Yeah, this is because he's quickly see how he overreacts.
I got a success.
He got a success, but a lower one. So you win the contest. You go to grab it, and he sends his other arm out to sort of snatch it, but you're quick enough to wrench it away and take 2 steps to the rear, further into the corridor, and deeper than he can easily walk. He points a finger.
Can I put it very? If he starts yelling, I ignore him to the point where I politely put it past 2 of the columns he can't fit through, and I would say, then like gesture for him to come and sit on it.
He points at you and says, "I've heard about you, bastard. Doesn't mean what they say. Your fathers win with a Saxon. You're half us." Can you also please make a proud roll for me?
Sure. I will. I am. Where is my thing? Sorry, 1 second. Because I believe that, yes, I am famously modest.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you could roll that, because it is the either or. This is about proud, but I think you could start with modest to see if you can just like disregard it. So yeah, go modest first. Yeah.
Everyone knows I'm a bastard.
You're
just catching up.
All men have things to be ashamed of.
You don't lose the point of honor because you don't really, it doesn't affect you that much, unfortunately.
Or do you only lose honor if you fail the roll?
For this one, it's actually for succeeding the proud roll was what gave you the hit.
Got it.
Because you your pride is to your honor, because your pride is stained by the accusations.
I did just double check, so I thought I read it. You are allowed to go outside and fight.
Yeah.
That is permitted under hospitality. As long as you are not in the house, you can fight. But if you are inside the house...
that's real good.
So, Sir Hervis, you have succeeded your proud roll. This large, gluttonous heathen has insulted you, insulted your lord's hospitality, and now stands before you. What would you like to do?
Sir, this sword should be well known to you and your ilk. It was taken by one of your chieftains some years ago, and I will be glad to show it to you once more, since you seem to be so keen to be reunited with it. But again, Lady Gale has many other duties to attend to, and so perhaps if she were allowed to pass, we may continue this discussion in the training yard.
He grins, releases her arm, and steps to the side so that she can shift past and away. As she does, she looks back to you gratefully and departs. And then Sir Kindwolf reasserts his position and says, "Gladly." At this point, so Boris, you've been keeping an ear out on this and making sure things don't go too far or anything. You hear the door open. Snapping to attention, it shifts, and Lady Jenna, Lord Robert, Count of Salisbury, and King Cerdic, and one of his courtiers all exit and see down the length of the corridor this confrontation. Lord Robert is young. He is only 20 at this point. He has a mustache that is failing to come in, and sort of soft brown hair that sort of almost floats a little bit in the light with its length. That said, he's aged in this last year and more since he's been knighted. And you do see him bearing himself well. He has been in a battle of his own this last week, and despite being outmatched by a man with far more years and experience than him, he has held his own and he has maintained the sort of hospitality, and he has done as is his lordly duty. Isn't all feasts and fun. His sister, Lady Jenna, is tall, beautiful, and very talented at this sort of shrewd negotiation. She emerges with a number of scrolls sort of underneath her arm as she has taken most of the maps and is going to further record them. And she looks over the whole situation with a familiarity, as though she's probably seen hospitality dissolve in the past. King Cerdic is a bit of a strange-looking man. He's a little shorter than you might expect, particularly compared to the companions that he keeps. But as you were saying, Sir Boris, sometimes they're larger on the inside. And this dude's got, like, boar personality. And he has this, like, wiry black hair, completely bald over that sort of, like, friar tuck section of his head. And although he keeps like the side of his face like mostly like sort of like roughly shaved, you can see it beginning to sort of like push its way back out like nettles that won't leave a garden alone. Each of his eyes are this brilliant and curious green that has earned him some reputation as being like witch touched or otherwise cursed or blessed, depends on the story that's being told. He has a very like sort of almost rough like twill shirt sort of thing going on, very much underdressed for the station. But it's okay. He's compensated. He has a giant gold like chain around the neck in the style of something like a pope might wear today. Like very like, this is a religious order. And he's like, the average of these two gets me to normal. I'm good. I don't need to wear the stupid shirts. As he comes out, he watches all of this with a sort of like rueful smile, and it's Lord Robert that claps his hands sharply and says, "Sir Hervis." Snap to attention, and he walks forward and he says, "Explain the situation. Why are you not at your post?"
I apologize, my lord, but Sir Kindwolf here was having a discussion with Lady Gale as she passed, and I wanted to ease the situation.
He looks to Sir Kindwolf and says, "A conversation?" And he says, "I was merely asking if there was more for lunch." He looks back towards you, and then Sir Kindwolf adds, "We will settle the matter outside shortly." Robert swings around to King Cerdic who shrugs and says, "Let it be done. Let them fight as knights
Yes.
do. But I warn you, my man's more than a match for yours. Perhaps he'd like a friend."
Can I throw something in there quickly?
Yeah.
If he said when he says my man, I might throw in your man called me half Saxon and therefore half his brother. It's kind that he puts us on the same footing. Because you mentioned that this guy's half Saxon
Also half
too.
Saxon.
And that might read as an insult to his lord. Like, I'm
That's
trying to say he was
really
dissing my parentage, which is a diss to you, and trying to out that.
I like that. It's so subtle. Like, there's definitely a role.
I also feel like it's in the context of being sort of invited as it's quite relevant to the discussion at hand, despite being a bit subtle.
Fully agree. No. I think it's fantastic. It's the exact sort of thing that, like, if it hits, it's surgical, you know?
Which
guess
is not my skill set, unfortunately.
No. I mean, intrigue's my instinct.
I can try it and fail it heroically. I probably just sound like an idiot.
I don't know. I think the failure is probably just it. I think the failure is probably just it not quite landing. Like, you say it, but he doesn't quite get the it'd only be the fumble that really probably backfires you. Because I think you're not going for just like, also he thinks you're a nerd. Like, you're trying to veil it a bit. I think go for an intrigue roll.
Is there a passion I can throw in here? Possibly my honor doesn't really seem like it fits here.
Hospitality.
Hatred, father.
Hospitality would work here. You could invoke your passion for hospitality to maintain it. You could also do, I could see honor, because he has insulted the lady's honor and now threatens Sir Hervis's.
I might try.
I could even see hate Saxons because you're trying to be a dick. Like, any of those apply.
I'll try honor. Let's give it a shot.
Go for it. All right, so make an honor roll.
That succeeded.
Okay, so you can increase your intrigue by +5 for this scene.
Okay, so I attempt with my intrigue, which, to be clear, is going to bring it to still most likely failing. But
actually, hey, Jim, before you roll, you rolled. Never mind. All good. Okay. You say it. There's no immediate reaction. Gets through though, and it's kind of. I also really liked that, like, if this is also half giant, like, there's a lot of halves being thrown around. Half bastard, half Saxon, half giant. Like, yeah, there's a lot in there. Bit for him to unpack. He'll be thinking about it later tonight and kicking himself. He didn't have a cool response, but nothing at the moment.
I'm happy with that.
However, he kind of, again, then has a little dig at Sir Hervis once more, saying, perhaps you'd like a friend. Kindwolf nods and says, "Gladly, I'll take as many as you give." They are opening the duel. If you'd like to elect a second, if anyone else would like to step forward and join. This is... So Kindwolf is a big dude. Genuinely, Hervis is in danger a bit. Like, he is, no two bits about it, outmatched. You know, this is not on an equal footing. Well, you probably got the skill. Maybe you could hold yourself. Tell you what, though, Sir Hervis, you soloed this. Oh, that's a bit of bloody glory, isn't it? That's a bit of bloody glory.
No. I'm not that proud. I'm not stupid proud.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sure that Sir Boris would also like to participate in such a rousing discussion. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Stepping up?
So Boris, what do you say?
Gladly.
Thank goodness.
I'm assuming that there is an element of, like, actually. I think. Sorry. Just gladly step up and have a rousing sport with this gentleman. Yes, indeed.
You step up.
Very much leaning into the, like, suggestion that this is while serious, not lethal.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. As should be the expectation, at least. This has not been stated as to the death.
Yeah, just like Squire training sessions aren't lethal.
Look, we've got a track record.
No, normally.
Lady...
I don't.
Lady Jenna says, "Fine then to the courtyard, not in the halls," and begins to sort of move out and away. And Robert will say, "Let's have this done." And walking, all of you make your way down the stairs and out towards the courtyard. Dame Aspara, who trained each of you, this sort of steel-haired war woman, turns around and sees you coming out, Sir Hervis, and this large dude has to like shrug under the stairs to get behind you, and immediately sends one of the squires she's training off to fetch yours. And so Boris is reading the situation immediately and begins to move away and set up space for this to be done as appropriately as possible. So Boris and Sir Hervis, your squires attend to you. They will fetch your arms and armor. And look, King Cerdic gives the honor of determining it to the host, Count Salisbury, in a very like, oh, now you want to be civil sort of way. And Lord Robert, unless anyone wants to assert otherwise, will say weapons of choice till the first man falls unconscious, or an apology is delivered by the injured to the injured parties. And you can see Sir Kindwolf fetching a large sword and shield, and then beginning to train. In the beat that follows, Sir Mobe, Lady Jenna's going to try to talk to you, but otherwise, what is everyone doing? I guess just like getting ready and like getting amped up. Getting juiced.
I might quickly just tell Pierre, my squire, through, because I still think he hasn't quite got English yet. Pierre, go to the Abbey. The Abbey. You need to get the abbot needs to have a doctor ready. Doctor. Pierre, come on, you can do this.
He runs away, repeating just doctor, like he doesn't know the word, but hopefully the person he's talking to will, and he flies off into the distance. I'd love to meet your two squires. And how are you attended to? What's your relationship? You've had these for 6 months or so now. You've been training with them and teaching them up.
I pre-ordered mine.
You
with
did.
An intrigue roll. You did. We were still squires, and when everyone else was off at the battle, I thought, right, I'm going to find out, now that there's a bit of power vacuum here, who's the up-and-comers. So I picked Filbert, who is the son of Sir Jaradan, who was the knight of Tiramhor when Tiramhor was the squire.
That's it.
And so he's got a +1 knightly skills. And he's 14, and yeah, I think I pressed him. I think, with my intrigue roll from before, it's like he knows that he knows that I'm the rising star, and squiring for me is also going to reflect some glory back on him.
Yeah, and
so I think he's pretty keen to impress. I hope.
Oh, certainly. He's been attached to one of the most, attractive new knights as well, and very much wants to earn your favor and maintain your good graces. He works hard. He rushes out towards you with all of your equipment, shining as it should be, and begins to assemble it. We can like Iron Man montage you. Hang on, you guys wear so many layers. Well, that's not crazy. First, so you wear an Akaton, which is like the quilted padding. So that is bought on first. Almost just knocked over like 30 boxes near me. Sorry about that. That is put on first, and then over that is drawn your hauberk, I think, which is the mail armor and the sort of modern cutting-edge technology. We're not really at plate and things just yet. This will bring you up to, so it's 2 points of armor protection for the Akaton, then another 6 for the hauberk, which has like a coif, whatever thing, hauberk. Thank you, Trifford. which is brought over your head. On top of that is fixed a nasal helm, one of the ones that has like the thing down here. And you would wear your colors on top of your hauberk too. So what are your house's like heraldry?
Yeah.
If you check Discord, I spent half of a day off properly blazoning all of our shields.
Oh, that's so sick. I wonder if I can get those onto the stream.
We have tokens of them as well.
Yeah,
on-
I have
on
the
our
ones. I have the
Roll20
ones
we
that
see.
I can show the roll 20 ones because I have that set up. I'll definitely get these ones
mine.
added soon as well. Yeah. So Hervis, what do yours look like?
There it is. It's a sable field with a charge ore and trois. I don't know all the heraldry words.
It's in
and
Discord,
3
Jackson.
griffins.
Hold
Oh,
on.
did you actually translate them? Oh, you did.
Yeah, I put them in. Yours is
Sable, 3 griffins, sergeant in pile, and a chief ore. There you go. Which means
for
black
translate-
shield, gold bar, gold griffins, 3 gold griffins.
also technically it's Segrion, which is a
course.
specific positioning of a griffin. Rampant for animals is rearing, but because griffins have wings, they are in a rearing position with their wings outstretched behind them. And impale just means in a 3 position, and appeal is opposite to a chevron. So instead of pointing up, it points down.
Here you go.
That
I got.
Yes, I
wasn't in
did
the round
spend-
table. That was the only way I could get them to fit. So if there are other options, I'd love to know about.
Oh,
them.
yeah, you can. Yes, but this is fully a solid 4 to 6 hours of my day. I'll
I'm
talk you
terrified.
through it later.
I'm
I'm
showing
to the
them.
round table. We're going to find out that round actually has a heraldry meaning, and it's secretly in the shape of like a.
So I'm showing them
yeah,
now.
nice.
So I just slapped them in the roll 20 game. Oh yeah, this was shared in our internal just like cast Discord. So the one on the left here is Sir Hervis's heraldry with the griffins, and the one on the right is Sir Boris's with, I believe it's a manticore, right? Which is the sort of.
Yes, mine is truly. I read these out on my own stream the other day, and it does sound like you're talking in tongues when you blazon a shield. My shield is Barrier of 8 Jewels and Argent, a Manticon Rampant Ore. Or technically, the lower one is a Manticore Passant Ore because it's standing, not rearing. Because shout out to Crusader Kings 3. The heraldry designer, for helping me do all of this. The only manticore that they have in CK3 is the one that's standing, not so technically I tell a lie. It is Barry Vegels and Argent and Manticon Passant.
Oh yeah.
Again, just funny French words. Passant, just passing. Like,
Yeah, it just means
it's not
which
rearing, it's just-
it just
Heading
means
over
like
there.
walking part. It's just an animal walking versus standant, which is standing,
That tracks.
and rampant, which is rearing. Like it's just, but it's all French words. Which is
Oui.
Jim, you can correct me here, but I assumed in pile just meant in a pile.
Yeah, it might be old French or there's some Latin in there because it's at least it's different from. Yeah. Anyway, it's definitely got just relationships to it. So it's always funny when you hear a word and it's like, oh yeah, that's just the thing. It's happening a lot in Pendragon. I'm very much enjoying it.
Yeah. Anyway, this is blazoning is the time.
Yeah. And you can
Look it up if you're interested.
Pretty cool. So yeah, the ones we're showing, the top layers are just for like we're done. You say Crusader Kings 3, yeah? Art for the ones that you did.
Yes, Crusader Kings 3, specifically their heraldry designer, they are kind enough to let you export once you've designed a shield, assuming so that you can
Pretty cool.
use it for things. So
And the ones
this is
Oh, and
The
ones
the other
underneath
ones
were
came.
I've got
came
CoMaker, CoAmaker.com.
Coat of Arms Maker.
Bit of arms
And-
maker, coamaker.com.
Yeah, and we use the and we base them from the we did that during our winter phase session last week where we actually rolled them out from the book and we generated our arms. And I'll not show Alex and James's just yet. We'll wait until they get their suit up stage and then we will display them.
Mine's boring.
and they are in fact still blazoned accordingly. You're welcome.
Yes.
I even found out what type of cross you have, Jim.
Yes.
Hell yeah. So with the helm in place and your sort of coat of arms draped across you, you are then by default you would be fetched your kite shield, which would also have your heraldry on it, and your sword. For you in particular, it is a special one. That one was already on you, but it would need to be like unbuckled and put back on top of everything else. It's a bit of an involved process. For the so Boris, who is your squire?
Well, my squire, bless him, my parents were very honored knights, and they had a squire, whose name eludes me because I didn't choose it yet, who unfortunately did not for many reasons become a fully fledged knight, but his son wishes to become knighted, and so in thanks for his father's service to my family, I have taken the young Trent, who is my squire, purely because for pun reasons later when we get to how many animals Sir Boris technically has.
Okay, and he's not a noble-born, so unless he can be attached to it as a household knight, he will not be able to afford the requisite gear himself. So he is hoping to, through Lord Robert or otherwise, earn his spurs.
Yeah. And that's my duty to him, and by extension, like, you know, my family's duty to his family, because his family has served my family well, is to do what I can to help this young man come up in the world and take a place that perhaps isn't necessarily his by like societal levels of right, but like, you know, there's a weird thing about upwards mobility in this time where like people should stay at their station, but sometimes people who come up from lower stations are like revered, kind of like Arthur. So yeah.
What?
Arthur.
And who's
not here yet? That out
Spoilers,
of character,
spoilers,
kind of
spoilers.
like Arthur. But yes. So he is his. He has -2 to squire skills and -1 to knightly skills, but you know, he's my -1 to knightly skills, and that's how that's important.
I'm allowed to call him that.
No, his name is Trent. I don't think. I don't know. I'm happy to kind of leave his personality up to you, Dave. I think for the most part, it's like Boris is loud and affable. Whether this
probably the
child
opposite.
is not, I think it is just a case of like, even if he wasn't the opposite, Boris is loud and affable enough that everyone seems kind of quiet by comparison. So I think he just. But I hope we have a good relationship. I try to treat him well and make sure that he is not put in unnecessarily dangerous situations. However, what Boris thinks is unnecessarily dangerous might be different from other people. So
I think for the purpose of giving them a bit of personality each, I think yours, Trent, seems to be constantly caught somewhat unawares. Like he's always prepared for just slightly the wrong situation. So as this all goes down, it's not that he forgot something, it's that he thought you might want the spear this time because the giant's really big, and then you're like, no dude, sword, like default sword, and he's like, right, yeah, sword, yeah, it's close by, I'll just go get it. Like he just needs to like 2 seconds, and he needs to overcompensate with speed.
I like that he's like, you might want the spear because the man is large, and just to be like, excellent thinking, Trent. But I think for this one, I might need my sword.
He goes, right, yeah, sword, yeah, right, sword. Bolts
fully, like, is willing to be like, you thought, you tried to use your brain, and honestly, that's all any of us can do, because I don't.
I want Pierre to be Uta from The Simpsons, which I think you already voiced.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Chocolate. We also said it because he was going to bring in a bunch of the like the French romantic things as well, which are really fun too. He's a lover, not a fighter.
Picturing for some reason in like I know it's not our character station, but like the floppy hat. Just running around.
Well, I think you'd wear that, like, it stands for like you're wearing that under the helm. Makes sense to me.
True.
And in the French style, that's very common to wear the funny hat.
of
So he
course.
wears his always because it shows he's a knight. Obviously, it looks remarkably like the peasant hats in this culture, but he doesn't quite get it yet. So the two of you are kitted up and begin to walk forward into this roughly marked ring, and a significant crowd gathers. All the Saxons come down to watch this, and the men and women of Lord Robert's court gather. This is You quickly feel more weight on your shoulders than you necessarily expected, and you already thought it was going to be a bit. You're kind of having a little bit of a proxy war. This is a metaphor, you know what I mean? Like, there's this big brute bastard coming in and hammering your stuff, but here's the plucky noble knights, here to defend honor and all the good things, and they'll do all right, and you can, like, people are really riding on this. Like, this is a time of allegory. You see something, and it surely implies something to come, and if things go well here, that's a good thing. If things go poorly, ooh, wish it hadn't. Lady Jenna sidles up towards you, Simobe. Go ahead, sir.
I was gonna say, did you say that like Sir Robert got to choose the arms?
He said you may choose. So everyone may choose chosen arms. You can choose your own weapons.
Okay.
And that it's going to be it's to unconsciousness or apology. So you can basically yield out by giving an apology, or when you get clobbered down. The expectation, and actually he'll clearly say it, not to the death. Like, there are no burials today. Last thing that's going to happen as this all kind of like, there's a bit of hurrahing and kind of like just pushing around as it kicks off. You'll know that this is kind of expected of you. You're going to give like a small speech right at the start, basically stating what you're fighting for. What is it that you're demanding apology from the other party for? Options on the table. Slights against your own honor. Hey, we're talking shit. I'm going to get them. You are slights against your lord's hospitality. Also on the cards will be slights upon the lady's honor, Lady Gale,
That's what I was
and
thinking
fighting
of.
for her favor. So as it kind of kicks off, who wants to speak first of Hervis, Boris, and I guess you could see if Sir Kindwolf wants to go first.
I
Jim.
shall. Oh,
Sorry, are you muted?
Apologies. Very quickly, is this one of those weird things where Lady Gale is not present because she went to keep working, or has
No,
she come
she
along?
has very
Yes.
much come along. Nope, she is watching.
Cool.
I shall speak first.
What would you like to say?
Sir, today you have shown disrespect to both my lord's hospitality and the duties that Lady Gale was providing to you. And for that, I should think you should apologize. Yeah.
There is polite hurrahing from the audience. And on saying Lady Gale's name specifically, and that you are fighting for her honor, she will move forward to the edge of the crowd, and if you would have it, give you her favor.
And that is
She
It's a
takes
token of
she takes a hanky from amongst like from underneath, and she ties it around the hilt of your Saxon sword, and then kisses it and says, "May it serve you well, Sir Knight." And
well, that's fun.
There's sparks here. Is anyone feeling?
Oh no!
Wow! As you step
Wasn't expecting
away,
this.
yeah.
Sheep handmade.
So she when you head back, you've got kind of like a bonus hanky. Doesn't do anything mechanical, but like, hey, it's cool. Nice to have.
Oh man, I just scrolled up and according to my notes, Lady Gale is the most eligible bachelorette at the feast.
She is a and she's quite wealthy.
Good. All right. No,
Very
yep,
fine.
I'm into this.
Terrific.
All right. No, yeah. I was regretting everything that brought me to this moment until
Just
now.
Now it's kind of
Just
coming
pick
back.
crossbow as your chosen arm and snipe him.
And the field of battle, 500 feet away, or whatever a crossbow's range is. Not 500 feet, I expect. So, Boris, but what are you fighting?
I'm kind of just
Your
giving-
companion's honor would be
I'm
reasonable. Your lords, or just saying I really hate Saxons. I'm fighting because you suck.
No, I think I'm just skimming through the chivalric code. I know that we don't have it yet, but like just the general
you
tenets,
can be ahead
which
of the
is
curve.
kind of where Boris is sitting, and like the is very much about oh my goodness, I've lost all of my thoughts. Yes. You accepted my
I'm leaning more into Gale at this point, so if you want to talk about more about the Lord and hospitality, that kind of makes sense.
I mean, it's, the true test of a knight is to be honorable in all situations, no matter how distasteful the company you may find the company present. It is to act in accordance with the rules of hospitality. It is to respect women above and assist them in their time of need. It is to pay homage to our lords and those lords above them. And for this slight on the knightly code, sir, I ask for your apology. If you do not wish to give it, sir, then let the sword decide whether what you have done today is chivalrous, or is in line with the knightly code, or if, as is right in the world, it is not.
So good. So basically, here's the concept of knightliness is what we're defending.
It is, because the concept of knightliness for Boris is, you slighted my lord, you slighted hospitality, you slighted my friend's honor. I probably should have assumed there was something in there about slighting friend's honor. Like, you insulted a lady, you did everything that, like, in Boris's heart, the chivalrous knight should not do. And while the concept of the chivalrous knight is not yet out there, to Boris at least, that is the way a knight should behave. They should stand up for the little people. They should not, they should look after people. They should be brave. They should be honorable. And this person in this moment has acted out of that. And so, yes.
I also love it because it's basically just a huge slam on him, because it's like basically everything, you did it all wrong. Like, the whole thing. Like, I can't pick one thing. You just are bad at being a knight, man. Fight me about it. But said with, like, flowers on the edges.
Again, none of this is malicious on Boris's part. He's just going,
Swear up.
You did all of these things, and for that, I must challenge you. If you do not apologize, please apologize, because you did it wrong. Yep. And people should admit when they make a mistake. Because the other thing is humility. But, I think that will depend on whether this man apologizes. If he does not, then I will also say, then for your lack of humility, on guard, sir.
Hell yeah.
Thing. I assume he doesn't apologize.
He does not.
I might. Don't say that.
Well, look, he steps forward, and with the two of you on one side of the field, draws himself up to his full height, and he does indeed tower over even Sir Boris Morrison. A big man, and you'd think that
Dave,
drawn out into a larger space, he would seem smaller, but actually he just seems all the bigger, because now you can see that he stands fully, like, arms over most of the crowd, and looks down on the two of you. And he says, I fight for my king, and until you plead for mercy, I will not stop. You'll get no apology from me. And then he draws his sword, and with...
Is there any reason to roll orate for any of that, Dave? And would that do anything? No, just
I don't think we're
curious.
changing his mind.
You're not changing his mind, certainly. He's locked in. Yeah, you know what? You can roll all right. Yeah, it's to kind of get a bit more. I think you in particular, Sir Boris, because yours was kind of about a larger thing. So Hervis, you kind of got the attention of Lady Gale and everything. But Boris, yeah, if you want to go and give us a...
Yeah.
All right.
No, but not.
Funny.
I don't think that's a fumble, is it? It's on.
No,
20?
it is. No, it is not. Yeah.
He's not a well-spoken man. He's just not.
I think you're going pretty well, and I think so Kindwolf cuts you off like midway through, and just says like you're fighting for a bunch of like flowery, vague shit. I'm fighting for my king because we're gonna come over here and take your stuff and make it ours because we're warriors. That's the point of this whole thing. He draws his sword, slams it against his shield, and as a trumpet sounds somewhere in the crowd, the fight begins.
Heck.
We're gonna roll we're gonna roll the first combat round. So we're gonna beat it beat by beat and see where things pan out. So there is an outnumbered mechanic. So Kindwolf has a -5 modifier to his rolls because he applies them, but he attacks both of you as he just basically swings his sword around really fast.
We're doing 1-on-2?
Yeah, you're doing 1-on-2.
He doesn't have a second?
Nah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because he's big.
He's confident.
Good.
He's
dangerous.
And his king suggested that you should get another. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's going to take a -5. He can choose to just focus on one, but then the other person's roll is unopposed. They're just rolling against their own skill, so there's no chance for him to like parry it or get the upper hand. He's not doing that, so he's going to roll against each of you. So, are you doing anything but hitting him really hard with your sword?
What else?
That
is
would be
there
the default.
in life?
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff in the combat which I've looked through most of. I think hitting him really hard with your sword sounds excellent at the moment.
Me too.
Could I throw out one thing very quickly?
Yep.
This is the training grounds that we trained on for years.
It's true.
Including where we developed a specific positioning trick to make use of the sun, which was something that came up in the earlier sessions. Could I have just placed myself there and sort of like, as everyone's going, I catch the eyes of those two to be like, we know this ground, we have a trick here, just so it's on the table for them to potentially be able to utilize. Maybe they have to make a battle roll to remember it or something.
Really like that.
Heck yeah.
I
I would have completely forgotten.
Yes, I think this is going to be on some...
That
This is
mode.
Sir Mobe's field. These kind of like
Fair enough.
advantages. No. So you can try and get it to them. I think I'll need you to make a battle roll, Sir Mobe, to see if you can... Because it's technically a slightly different field. You guys are fighting outside of the court. This is inside the keep. But yeah, this is where you've trained for years and years and years.
My flavor of it is that I have something metal on me. I mean, I was at attention in my armor. I go and position myself in the way that I know I need to be and have something glinting so that if they catch my eye, they'll catch the glint.
Fantastic.
So I'm not trying to shine it in his eyes.
I get you. You're not trying to cheat it. You're trying to let them know to use it. So we're going to do a battle, and then I'm going to have them awareness to spot it. Okay,
The battle succeeds.
Boris and Hervis, can you please each make awareness rolls unopposed to note Sir Mobe's direction?
critical.
We're cooking.
Oh my gosh, that's like one of my lowest skills, so I get to stick it.
This
yes,
was
absolutely.
during one of the training things. We were like looking for tactics that we'd practiced, and we found a positioning trick that we could use to get the sun to shine in your enemy's eyes, which
This is not the one that killed Kenrick, but it helped. So yeah, this is basically you knowing this field and Sir Mobe. Okay, Boris, you focus on this big dude in front of you.
I also, again,
Boris wasn't there for that.
we're not. Boris is not fully chivalrous yet, but in the line of chivalry, I would not necessarily be looking for a way to negatively disadvantage my opponent.
Sure.
Boris is very much just, no, it's gonna be a fair fight.
Yeah.
And like,
Do it right.
the better person will win. Hopefully that is us because we are in his mind in the right here. But if we're not in the right, then that's going to have to be some soul searching.
Yes. And this will determine it. Yeah, I agree. Like, not looking for it. Okay, so
Hervis is like, no, even 2-on-1. This is clearly not a fair fight. He could eat us. I'll take every advantage we
Oh,
get.
yeah,
100%.
I'm not aware, so I'm very happy. Because I'm
I'll
not
take it.
aware of it, I'm not going to try and not do it. I'm just going to do whatever. Hervis.
So Hervis, you can definitely tick your awareness. This is catching something in a critical time right before a duel, and you have a pocket +5 that you can apply to a single swing. So when you use your advantage, that will give you a little bit of a bonus. I think beyond that, you'll probably just also notice that Lady Jenna is standing right next to Sir Mob and is saying something to him, which he probably looks a little bit concerned about as this fight begins, but then you have to shake it from your mind because head in the game, man, head in the game. Okay, so...
Did we know what that conversation was? I think I may
It was suspense building. We'll
No,
find out.
she's just stepped up and has not spoken. She'll talk as the fight happens, blow by blow. So if the default is just whack him really hard with your sword, first, would anyone like to invoke a passion? If you have a famous hate Saxons or honor, you probably would almost need to. Do you have a famous honor? Do you have a 16?
I have
I'm
16 above?
famously honorable.
I have famous honor and famous homage.
Okay. And you are tying this thing. I think yours particularly about the knightly thing, so I think both of you must invoke your honor. So you are going to roll against honor. If it succeeds, you can add +5 to a skill of your choice for the scene, so likely sword. Nicely done, Sir Hervis. So add 5 to your sword. Good call, I think. And if it fails, we'll have a whole thing and maybe it goes into melancholy again. Nuts. Okay. Boris, would you also like to apply it to your sword?
Yeah, I mean, it's just whether
need it.
It was only if I was going to apply it to brawling, because if I just want to punch the guy.
Up to you.
No,
up to you.
Armor is pretty heavy soaky in terms of what we've seen of the combat, just because you wail on someone and their armor just takes all of it away and you go, oh, that did nothing. Unless you're writing horse, in which case the armor is wet tissue paper.
Yeah. When do we tick honor and stuff like that? Oh, same thing.
When
if
it's
critical.
when it's appropriate, when something's I think passions you might tick it when 2 seconds. Passions. And possibly now, I guarantee I'm now going to go the other way and under tick.
Okay.
1 second, sorry. I'm checking.
We're learning about the system, and by we I mean me, because I haven't done this yet.
We're all...
Me too,
Oh,
thanks.
RQ staff and
Critical fumble and
significant
fumble
success.
too. I do remember reading that now. I
Ticket
love
on
that
a
rule.
fumble?
Yeah, because you still learn from it. That's an excellent
Because
one.
you learn from abject failure as much as you learn from extreme success.
Yeah.
I don't know what a significant success means, but that
I think
doesn't feel like a thing.
narratively
There's
significant, basically. So I think this would
rule by rule things where it says, and this situation ticket.
Yeah, I was seeing if passions had a specific one, and oftentimes the scenario calls out ones. Okay. So I think not for this one. I think this is just using your vanilla. You may earn an honor check by upholding your honor throughout this encounter. So you can both increase your sword by +5, would be the assumed, and
is this when we roll it, we put that 5 into the modifier box?
Yeah, and that's going to last the whole scene. So you will maintain that you are invigorated by your knightly duty. Hooray! If you
How do we note that we've invoked? Because we
just
can
add
only invoke.
+5 to the.
No, sorry. I mean, you check passions when you check them, but you can only invoke one passion.
It's per day. I
You
think.
can only evoke a passion once a session or something. Is that right?
I think it's per. You can only do it once per day. I think basically just don't do another one for this session, and it'll solve itself. Should be right.
Easy.
All right. If you
I would
both
like to
want to
swing
roll,
my sword.
roll your swords.
Who goes first?
You
Dave,
both- it's all-
how does this
all-
come?
Oh yeah, so it's all simultaneous. Everything's opposed rolls. So I'll have you each roll. There's no luck spending, so it doesn't really matter, but we'll just do yours first, and then I'll roll the opposed. Actually, why don't we do one at a time, just so then I can roll the one that's opposing you. So Hervis, why don't you begin, and I'll roll the oppose for
Excellent.
my large gentleman.
Does your
Should I
sword do
use-
anything fancy?
It's got a +1 damage.
Ooh.
Should I use the macro in the attack section? That's going to roll damage at the same
Yes,
time.
I think that'll be that'll work.
That's
And
what
you
I'll
can
do
always just
then.
add on other
And no damage modifier. Bam! Success, 10 damage.
Nicely done. So he has a -5 modifier.
Oh no.
Wow.
That's very, very bad.
But was that
no.
was that modified?
Just quickly, your previous roll.
Jeepers creepers.
Your previous roll was so that +5 was for
I'm
your.
gonna roll
passion,
that twice just to make sure that there's not a bug, because we have had that with other ones in the past. So I'm reconfirming it.
Just quickly, because it might be critical to critical. I'm just confirming. Your sword skill +5 is 17, which the +5 came from the passion. If you used the advantage, which previously gave a +5, that would have brought 17 to 22. Which would that?
22.
Sorry, I'm just running the maths. Would that be? No, it would still be 1 off a crit, I think.
So actually, I did have a mistake. I had set that to his spear, which is higher, so it was lower. So I need to roll again. So it is reduced. So we will strike that. Glad I checked it.
Okay.
So I'm resetting it to sword. I'm now swinging on you.
Oh yeah, those are very different. Hovering over them in Roll20.
Okay.
The
All right.
skills.
Does connect. And is the higher roll. So yours is a partial success. You can apply your shield, but you will not deal damage. So we'll resolve this quickly. Jackson, you take 17 damage, reduced by your armor and by your shield.
That's still massive.
It is. My armor and my shield is 16.
Okay, so you take
Right?
1 point of damage.
So I take 1.
Think.
Does your armor and shield take that every round? Do they degrade in any way?
I don't think there's a degrading thing. I think if you fumble, stuff gets dropped.
And if you fail,
Lances break on like shadows and stuff, but I think the default it's not like just pocket hits or anything.
We just assume that you're covered in metal.
Yeah.
If you fail the check, you can't use your shield to parry because you messed it up.
That's right. So you did manage to succeed that. So I got the shield. Otherwise, just whacking on your armor. So Boris, if you want to make your roll, and then I'll narrate the results. And that hasn't adjusted his threshold for that. It has increased his modifier. So he actually rolled a 9 or whatever, and -5 is how that was handled. All right.
I'm confused now, but that's okay. So I'm rolling sword.
Yep.
I put the modifier.
Yep. So you have +5. And then no damage modifier, just 0. And fire.
Do I not?
This guy is a titan.
Okay. That's a 9. That is a success. I roll a attack of my own.
So the modifier changes our threshold. It doesn't.
It changes the roll. So modifier is adding. So it's taking a 4 and turning it into a 9, or it's taking his 9 and turning it into a 4.
Well, because my sword is 10.
Yeah, my sword is 12, but because of my +5 modifier, my sword skill became 17.
Oh, interesting. Maybe it works differently.
So I think it is changing the threshold. I don't think it is changing the roll, because a +5 to your roll would be terrible. A +5 to your threshold is what you want. So
I'm not
he
sure.
should have -5 to his threshold, which
you are right.
Did come
it does
through.
change the threshold. So I don't think, because that should have reduced it down from 14 to 9 then.
But the roll that you did was
still got
4
it. Sorry,
I'm
9. I'm just gonna do manual rolls for this then. That'll be easy. So I'm just gonna roll. I'm gonna roll it, and his threshold is -5. So he's gonna roll against 9, and I'm just gonna not apply modifiers and see if it does anything. Yeah. As a failure. So for yours, Sir Boris, you deal 17 damage, of which he reduces 8, and he cannot get his shield up to do so. He's gonna take.
So in the character creation, they're like, you want to make sure that your size and your strength or something combine to a certain number, so that you at least have 46 damage. If you want to, you can get your size and your strength above 20 something, and you get 5d6 damage. And I went, bet. I do 5d6 damage when I hit.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm big, because I think I did the math. I have 17 size, 15 strength, and 18 constitution.
Grand.
I have 35 hit points. Come at me.
Let's go. First round, Sir Kindwolf bellows and charges forward as soon as the horn sounds. Sir Hervis catches his blow on his shield and is able to deflect most of it, only a minor bruise getting through. And then as the giant swings his sword towards Sir Boris, he gets underneath it and slices through the opponent's Gambison, leaving a bleeding mark that begins to drip onto the ground before all of them whirl around and the fray continues. So Mobe, as you watch this clash, Lady Jenna says to you, the negotiations have ended. The king is departing as soon as this is done, and it would be good to know his location. We need to make sure that he leaves properly. Would you fetch your squire? This is your lord's orders. And would you head out now, find a position, and watch where they retreat? Take rations for the night, and we can speak with you in the morning when you return.
Yes, my lady.
See that they reach at least the forest and beyond.
Yep. Can do. I don't have a hat to tilt, but I bow and head off.
And you just sort of disappear
Mobe's
into the
getting
crowd.
a secret mission. I love that for him.
When Sir Boris and Sir Hervis continue their fight, if they look up to us, they will not see their friend in the crowd. Speaking of continuing the fight, this time, having caught a wound, Sir Kindwolf spits at you, which you catch on the shield, Sir Boris, and focuses his full attention on you. He's going to roll without the negative modifier for an attack on you, but Sir Hervis, yours is an unopposed attack this round. If it hits, it hits. So go ahead. Let's do Sir Boris this time first. So if you want to roll your attack, you still have that +5.
Great. Sword. Is there... If I note that he's attacking, like, solely focused on me, is there an opportunity for me to, in D&D terms, take a full defensive action?
Yeah.
And go like, no, I'm good. Because if he's focused on me, great, Hervis is gonna get him, and like
teamworks. I
don't like. Yeah, I don't know whether I need a roll to work this out or not. I feel like, again, my general intelligence is not high, but like,
no, this is fighting.
If
this
someone's
is
coming
what you've got. Yes.
I also assume it's not cowardly to be like, someone is hitting me really hard, I'm going to like defend myself effectively.
Yeah, no. It's
great.
So it's there is the defend action. So the character forgoes trying to inflict damage on their opponent in favor of protecting themselves. You use your weapon skill +10. Cool, but you can't deal any damage.
Great.
So you add 10 to it, so you'll be +15 with your sword.
Hell yeah, let's do that then. I will defend fully to give Hervis a chance to
Unfortunately,
attack.
It seems, if I'm reading this correctly, it says results on a win or tie, the character takes no damage but deals no damage to their opponent. I would read that partial success does not do it. You need to get over him. If you get a partial success, it will not apply, and his damage will be dealt to you.
I don't know what a partial success is, Dave, so I'm
when
just
you
gonna
succeed,
go
but
with
he rolls higher.
In Call of Cthulhu terms, you don't get the dodge bonus of if you tie. It's a thing. You need to do better.
Yeah, that's right. Just go ahead and roll, and I'll explain based on the outcomes.
Okay, well, I'm gonna defend anyway.
Oh, I think that's
It
really fun.
it still seems to be
you said
much more mechanically
I
efficient.
get a +15.
Yeah, +10 and +5. Big numbers. Love being knights.
The +10 is from
Critical.
defending.
So the way I'll explain how that's worked. So what is your sword skill by base?
10.
Okay, so
So
you have
plus
increased
15,
it by
25.
15. That has brought it to 20 with a +5 bonus to the roll. If the roll is 20 or above, it treats it as a critical. So what may have happened there is you rolled an 18 on the dice and it got elevated up. This is what knights can do when they get real. Oh, bang on.
Yeah, I think that I'm looking at the numbers. So my threshold was 10 + 15 is 20, and then it has said rolling 1d20. 10
you
plus
rolled an
15 minus 20. The math is wild.
Yeah, that's the formula. I was trying to figure itself
I
out, but
rolled
that
an
is the
18.
case. So
You rolled
it's
an 18.
so yeah, and it actually brings you up. So knights can not only do you like crit, like there's a 5% chance of a crit and a 5% chance of a fumble. You quickly elevate that beyond. Like you can crit pretty regularly and doing stuff. Also, because that's a critical, you can check your sword. You have done a really good parry thing. I'll roll his attack and see how he goes. So he's going to have no negative, so I'll just roll his regular one this time. Come on, buddy. Crit for me. Actually, it won't matter because it's the same result. Damn. Success. He swings down towards it. And Sabaris, what is this unmatched swordsmanship we see?
I think Boris is like also a brawler. Like he understands how to position his body in a way that makes it very hard to knock down. And he's pretty good at taking like blows. And so he, I think like, yeah, he gets his shield up. He has his sword arm sort of like, in such a way that I actually think what he probably does is like he reverses grip on his sword, if that's something that is like easily done, so that it's like
sounds cool.
Has essentially like a crossbar. Plants his feet, and in the same way that this is a man that is incredibly hard to knock off a horse, he just plants and does the Gandalf "you shall not pass," but in this case it's "I shall not move." And the blow, like it hits the shield, and I think in the same way that brawling works, you can shock absorb, but to everyone around, it looks like Boris does not move, and it truly looks like the sword bounces off with the force that it hit. Like it's not a thud and stays there. It's a like what is it? Immovable object. Unstoppable force hits a movable object.
Yes, sick.
In this case, a movable object won.
Yep.
Nice.
That's awesome. And it catches it and like stalls the blow long enough that he's there leaning into it for a moment as Sir Hervis acts. So you have that plus 5 from your thing. You can add your extra plus 5 from Samob if you want to just go for a crit.
Now's an excellent time to use it.
That's so sick.
Now he's distracted with the unmovable object. I'm going to step under the sun.
So you'll add 10 to this.
Swing upwards. What was the other plus 5 from again?
Just you are invigorated by your passion.
Because of the passion.
Oh, that's right, the passion. Yeah,
You're very honourable.
All right, so plus 10 modifier. Bam! Just a regular success, but it's a pretty high roll at 14. I'm happy with that.
And once again, because he did not oppose you, he cannot shield. So he takes it. He catches, once again, reduces it by his armor, which is worse than yours because he's so big they kind of struggle to get mail fitted for him. It is not inconsequential.
What's his armor?
It is 8, so he's taken another 4 damage from it. Very quickly, so I'm looking at just less for like nitpicking and more just for my own understanding. With kite shields, we actually add a -2 penalty to these when used with swords. Well, anything but spears and lances because they're so large, because they are quite a big thing. You can just use a sword in like a 2-handed grip, and then that means that if you
it does say -2 to weapon skills when used mounted. We're not mounted, so I don't think that applies here. Except for it says
there it is. Thank you.
6 armor, -10 missile attack penalty, -2 to weapon skills when used mounted, except for charge.
Yep.
Nice.
That's exactly it. Thank you. Hervis's base chance here is he's got a 14 in sword. So he added he has nothing. He's just rolling. So okay. All right. Nice done. Huge hit lands, caught, and Sir Hervis darts in, and another blow is cut into the giant.
Is a major wound single blow or cumulative?
So
you have to hit. So there's an unconsciousness value where you still have some health yet left. You have to get someone down to that, or if you deal like catastrophic damage in a single hit, it's a single.
Yeah, that's what because I've got hit points, knockdown, major wound, and unconscious, and I'm just asking whether major wound is like if you hit that threshold, are you at major wound, or is that the amount that you can lose in a single blow? I think it's from a single blow.
Yeah, taking a major wound makes you. You'll take a major wound.
Unconscious without it.
Damage from a single blow that is greater than or equal to your characteristic is a major wound. Yeah, so.
Cool, easy.
It's a single one.
What's
Okay.
what's the state of play? How
You really
hard have we
hope this
hit him
guy was
so
going to
far?
fall down after one hit. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yes, he has not fallen down after one hit. He has taken 13 damage across the two hits. The first one was the larger, and the second one did get through and continued to hit him. He is not yet half health. He's still chilling.
God,
he's
a
looking
tight
okay.
number.
Yeah,
We've got two
he's a big
people.
boy. So he continues to fight. As the next round goes, this blow repelled by Sir Boris. He rears back up and turns to you, yells "cheat" at you as you struck at him. You weren't. It's perfectly legal. And then swings. He's going to attack both of you this time, so -5 to each. We'll just keep kind of alternating. Sir Hervis, we'll resolve yours first.
Excellent. All right, here comes a swing. And I've still got 5 from my passion.
That's it.
Right.
And I'll roll my own as well. We're just going to treat this as if he's got a 9. And actually, I'll just put his skill to 9. No, I won't. We'll just treat it as 9. Nicely done.
Success, but a 6 is not a very high roll. Not a very high success.
Oh,
And he's
he
beaten
rolled
me.
a 10, but he needed a 9, so that does fail. So yours will get through, and he will not apply the shield again.
Oh.
So what?
You're taking the -5 off that, so his skill was 9, so he failed.
That's right.
Excellent.
There's a fail.
Can you not put 9 as 5 in the modifiers box, Dave? Does it not take?
I wasn't quite. I'm not entirely sure what it's doing at the moment, so I'm just ignoring it, and we'll do it the old-fashioned way.
I think it is just changing the threshold, which I feel is what it is meant to do.
I think the MVC one's doing something a little funky.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
So 22 minus 8 is still a pretty big number. 14.
That's
14.
pretty good.
That is pretty bloody good.
Yeah, you rolled
Really
two
is, like,
6s,
you
a
tried
4,
to
and a 5.
follow
You
this
did a
individual
really good job.
Disaster.
It is not his knockdown or major wounds, but it is a lot. So
That's pretty good.
Boris.
I mean, the guy is bigger than me, and my knockdown is 17.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, still big hit.
Yeah.
Still big hit.
all right.
Wait, I'm sorry. We were looking at the rules last time. Do I remember right that actually you knocked down before the reduction? I feel like I remember that right. We were doing it. Knockdowns before armor. Yes, thank you.
Ooh.
I had the flash
What's his
of
knockdown?
insight. His knockdown is exactly 22. So that hits it just. And you would not believe how shit his dex is.
Just quickly, if it's bang on, without wanting to cause problems, would Sir Hervis have been knocked down on the first hit? Because a nice way to do that might just be to wipe the 2 knockdown instances and say
would a
that
17 have done it?
therefore- Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Jim. Good point. Thank you.
Sorry,
just
I
ignore
did-
that.
No. This is good.
George,
This is
we-
good. We did.
We both just say we both cheated
We'll
here?
call it even. Well, he did yell cheat at
Alright.
you. It's just that actually he was right. So you should be on the ground. What the hell, man?
All right.
Okay, we'll call
We
it
should both
even.
knock down,
Stevens.
but let's just carry on.
Okay.
So knockdown is single. Okay, cool.
Yes. From the
All
back
right.
bit. All right. From now on, we'll do it
sword
properly.
Time.
Sword time.
Sword time with a +5. Oh, I rolled the bloody wrong thing. I'm
That's all
sorry.
good.
I rolled my
Just-
sword rather than my attack.
I'll roll
so
mine to see
I-
if I get it. So we're rolling for 9.
Keep it. It's pretty good.
That is a fail.
Oh,
You'll do
hell
yours.
yes.
So go ahead and roll it. Just roll your damage. If you just
Uh,
if you just click character damage up the top, it should just roll the.
Oh, does it? Cool.
I think so. One believes. Choose to believe.
What's the damage? It's 4d6.
5d6, I think, for
uh,
Saboris.
5d6, that's right. You took the extra one.
Where's
Fantastic.
character damage? Why can I not?
You can just
Just
roll
roll 5d6.
5d6
We'll be fine. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Character damage. Yes.
I'm also looking for character damage.
Whoa.
Not a great roll.
There it is.
Pretty, not bad.
Hmm.
He did
For
not succeed.
5d6?
So he only reduced it by 8. That is 7. That's not. Sorry, 15. Not enough for the thing. That I checked that this time. The sort of again caught. He goes wide with it, and the two of you just moving quickly, displaying teamwork and knightly virtues, and invigorated by your honor as this large monster tries to take your heads off at the neck with this second flurry of quick blows, repelling his own attacks. So Hervis cuts into his side, and so Boris draws another gash into his thigh, and the giant collapses down to one knee.
Heck yeah. Can I
Doesn't
try something?
Yeah, he is. He has hit his unconscious threshold. So he is
he's
going. He
unconscious?
is going to go down. Yeah.
Oh hell yes.
Hey,
Standing. All right, never
felled him.
mind.
Yeah, hits the thing.
Outrageous.
And then slams down into the ground. It's just a
Got him.
dust.
Nothing to it.
So good. It's very the Saxons think they're just not just being big and tough. There's training to this.
Yeah.
Not just hiring half giants to do your dirty work.
As you look around, you see King Serdik's tail. As soon as the fight began to lose, he just leaves. He does not acknowledge. He does not. It is a full like coward move. Like he's just not saying anything. And as he leaves, Lord Robert does call out behind him, "Fare ye well, King. Then until we meet again." And King Serdic says nothing and leaves. He looks shitty about it. Like he hated
gives,
that.
Oh right. So that Robert in that case has given King Serdic the right to leave.
Yes.
Because that is part of hospitality, is you must be granted right to leave.
They'd already, yes, and also as Lady Jenna said, they were on the way out. Things had resolved in the most recent meeting. The giant's still there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I call out, King? Remember to take your rubbish with you. Clean up after yourself. Something like that. Something a little bit less offensive.
Yeah,
There's a word,
yeah.
sure.
You find the middle guy.
Make sure you have not left any of your belongings behind. We would hate to
We'd hate to send them after
We'd
you.
hate to delay you.
I want to know.
Boris does immediately call for a doctor. Because the correct thing to do, the chivalrous thing to do, is to ensure that your foe is looked after and is not,
You're also both impassioned by your honor. So you do it by the book, kind of, like you fetch for it, you do it all properly. And someone is sent for. You'll realize that King Zod's not fully just abandoning him. He's heading out. There are people that are going to take the giant with them. Unfortunately, he's so large, he already struggled to go on horseback. He's going to need a wagon now to be, hauled out of here. I did want to roll from you, Jackson, and Stafford suggested a courtesy roll, which I think is excellent for just, talking shit as he leaves.
That's so good.
So unless you have something else, I think that'd work really well.
No, yeah, I like that. Because I want to diss him, but I don't want it to be utterly offensive. Yeah. All right, here we go. And hop. Relix.
Yeah, nice.
Successfully diss him without causing offense.
Thread the line, and it's all perfectly above board, but the meaning is very clear. And the crowd, now either dispersing Saxons or, invigorated Cumbrians, let out a big hurrah. There's one for Sir Hervis, one for Sir Boris, and one for Lord Robert. Hurrah! And everyone's having a grand old time. In the chaos, Sir Mobe's nowhere to be found. James, can you roll I need a sneaky roll from you, because there's bloody Saxons coming out the gate right behind you.
Okay, let's see how we can do this. I'll also mention that because I had to go pick up Pierre at the Abbey, I would have quietly mentioned to the abbot, whom I know, tell the other knights quietly, keep it to yourself, that I've gone to do this, just in case the word needs to get out, basically.
Yep. You could also leave your squire behind. You'd probably by default take him, so that he can help you out and run messages back. So quick look over it. Stealth is not a roll, which makes sense. You're knights. You're doing cool stuff. I think hunting is typically the one that applies.
Wouldn't it be
here.
intrigue? Because you're doing sneak.
Yeah, I think
intrigue is
more a
intrigue
courtly
is
thing.
Rumors and courtly.
I think Jackson's right. I think it
whisperings.
is hunting. I think that typically covers a bunch of it's the running around in woods and being sneaky and things. I'm just
unfortunately, I'm pretty rubbish at that.
Yeah. Just give me 1 sec. Hunting practices, taking down, single roll. Poses avoidance.
I'm a much better dancer. Could I?
No, but I can see. So Hunting is opposed by awareness in hunting, so I think it does kind of work. Well, actually, sorry, no, that's not true. Animals have a thing called avoidance, which you don't have.
What I was going to try and go for, and I'm happy to leave my otherwise I'll just make the hunting roll and we'll see how it goes. Moab displayed pretty good horsemanship at an earlier point. I was the only one who did the charge. I was the only one who jumped on my horse. There's only one route they can take up to a certain point, and I got out before them. My idea was I just get on my horse and I'm like I'm checking roads ahead, you know. I get at the crossroads and I'm like, I can see from there. I set up.
I'm totally fine with horsemanship. In like that, Pendragon's very like, or I'm kind of treating it as very like, you know, it's like cut to whatever. It's like, you know, the crowd you rush through, but then the thing is, the night part of this is racing along on your horse, going really fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was also going to say hunting very specifically is very much about surviving in the wilderness, tracking animals in the wilderness.
I might have to do it if I get stuck out here.
Yeah,
the other thing I was going to say, Dave, if you'd like to sort of add a penalty to me, maybe I don't have time to for speed, I can't take my armor or something. I rush out on the horse.
Maybe that's what we'll do if this fails.
Cool.
Yeah, I think you've got your Squire with you and relatively prepared, and they put on a good show, your allies.
It's also kind of delightful that they specifically say intrigue is not used to poison people, foment rebellions, or assassinate rivals. Such dark practices must be role-played and not left to random dice rolls.
That's cool.
Very good.
So Moab, you... describe your horse. We got horses last session. Horse description.
Oh, we did, didn't we? So, the horse that I got is a little nicer than it should have been. Given my sort of my father has a decent station, but I do not as an acknowledged heir. But I had it that I was given a really, really nice horse from the church, basically, which is why I have Pierre, this sort of foreign squire from Avignon, where there's some fun papacy stuff going on. I think that Moab's sort of been picked like very distantly to basically house a squire away from all of that, who will probably be important to there down the line.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So I have I believe it was
you were the yellow.
It was yellow. Sorry, a yellow horse, which is sort of just a bit of an odd thing, but they have a completely obedient temperament, so it does everything that I ask it to, and is very, very, very reliable.
Oh, and you also have this like blessed bridle.
I do, yes. I forgot completely about my blessed bridle, which was also, I think, a gift that came with the horse. So, which is absolutely awesome. I had their name, and I just can't find it in my notes. But it was the name for there's a horse in the Bible somewhere that I named them out of, and I'll find it again at some point.
Yeah. So cool horse thing. So Moab races to his horse, and with his squire, in tow. It was Pierre, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Pierre in tow, leaps to his horses and races away, flying through the gates and charging down through the town that surrounds the castle on the rock. As you breach through them and begin to fly along the field, looking back over your shoulder and like the flapping cloak behind you, because you're not full like sneak mode, but you're a little incognito. You can see the Saxon entourage.
I take the loop for the training route that we used to do.
Yeah, hell yeah, the familiar ground. The Saxon entourage departing, and you set yourself up to watch them go, to make sure that they leave and perhaps see the direction in which they depart as directed by your lord through your lady. And that's where we're going to leave this session. The incredibly successful duel. 2-on-1, but still well struck against the Saxon giant, and a little intrigue afoot. We will resume the scenario next week. So we hope we'll see all of you then.
Yeah.
And thanks all for playing. Thanks for everyone that tuned in, and hope we'll see you soon. Ciao.
Outstanding.
Bye, everybody.